Genesis chapter 11. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. But
what has been contained, suffering, tragedies, and failures of humanity. What to avoid and to redeem? But what about the unrealized hopes and potentials? What could have been and can yet be?
What is old, in the currents of social development, never clearly stands out from what is new, while the latter, in an effort to disengage from the antiquated, regenerates archaic, primordial elements. The utopian images which accompany the emergence of the new always, at the same time, reach back to the primal past.
What happens when progress, capital P, moves forward in its technological sense in a variety of so-called enlightenment conceptions that are casting light in certain corners but unable to cast light in other corners. Concerned with the underworld, the underbelly. I'm concerned with the underground of both our lives as well as Americans, the American Democratic Project. He always wants to stay in tune with those folk whose humanity is overlooked, whose humanity has been rendered invisible.
Пусть исполнится то, что задумано. Пусть они поверят. И пусть посмеются над своими страстями. Ведь то, что они называют страстью, на самом деле не душевная энергия, а лишь трение между душой и внешним миром. А главное, пусть поверят в себя.
What it's all about is the attempt now to excavate something which has been buried.
Action is not taken, it will take the planet into an unprecedented climate future if we compare it to what has happened during all of human evolutionary history.
What do these places have in common? They're hubs. Things started there. Cities are places where most innovations start, most new ways of doing things.
We've known for decades that rapid climate change is being caused by the release of greenhouse gases. But instead of reducing them, in 2019 the world was emitting 50% more CO2 than in the year 2000. And emissions are still rising.
The Green New Deal says what climate scientists say. We need to completely stop burning fossil fuels as much as technologically feasible. Think about what direction wealth and power usually flow in when new things get built. It's the communities with the most political clout who decide where things can and can't be built. Wealthy corporations jump in to build those projects, and the good jobs go to the people who can afford to get trained for them. How's that going? The Green New Deal is a long shot. But right now, it's also the only plan that acknowledges what we know is coming.
This is a story about the future. Not the distant future of spaceships and men from other planets, but the immediate future. This is a story about tomorrow. What happens to the people in this story might happen to us, might happen to you. If we should ever relax in our fight for freedom, if we should ever allow any individuals or any group of individuals to reduce our freedom of thought, our freedom of speech, our freedom of religion, then what happens to the people in this story will happen to us.
It's the idea of manufactured worlds, rotated to create artificial gravity with centrifugal force. These are very large structures, miles on end, and they hold 1 million people or more each. Here's the International Space Station for scale. This is a very different kind of space colony. Let's take a look at what they might look like inside. High-speed transport, agricultural areas. We added a little drone there. Cities in the background. Some of them would be more recreational. They don't have to have the same gravity. You could have a recreational one that keeps 0G so that you can go flying with your own wings. Some would be national parks. These are really pleasant places to live. Some of these O'Neill colonies might choose to replicate Earth cities. They might pick historical cities and mimic them in some way. There'd be whole new kinds of architecture. These are ideal climates. These are shirt sleeve environments. This is Maui on its best day all year long. No rain, no storms, no earthquakes. What does the architecture even look like when it no longer has its primary purpose of shelter? We'll find out. These are beautiful. People are going to want to live here.
The logics of endless capital accumulation have devastated both human societies and ecosystems. As the archaeology of our thought shows, man is an invention of recent date, and one perhaps nearing its end, like a face drawn in sand at the edge of the sea. The collapse of the mega machine in the 21st century poses new dangers as well as new possibilities for systemic change. In the same way that we believe in the fiction of neoliberalism, we ought to believe in a world beyond it, or at least create the conditions for its alternative to emerge.
Hope as well as utopia is always about the present. It chooses in the present the seeds for the expression of radical difference, rather than encouraging the continuation of existing societal norms.
100 times I have thought New York is a catastrophe, and 50 times it is a beautiful catastrophe.
If the world's air is clean for humans to breathe, but supports no birds or butterflies, if the world's waters are pure for humans to drink, but contain no fish or crustaceans or diatoms,
Have we solved our environmental problems? Well, I suppose so, at least as environmentalism is commonly construed. That clumsy, confused, and presumptuous formulation, the environment, implied viewing air, water, soil, forests, rivers, swamps, deserts, and oceans as merely a milieu within which something important is set, human life, human history. But what's at issue in fact is not environment. It's a living world,